Because if you think I'm lying, you go to a graveyard and some noise, what's that? Because we believe they're dead, but not surely. Not surely. Amen. But when you're dead, Fred. So that's in it, it's your what? So there's no such thing as an undying, tiny soul in you. As a matter of fact, the word soul is mentioned 1,600 times in the Bible, and nowhere is it given life apart from the body. Man became a living soul, but once the breath goes, man is a dead soul. And a dead soul is a dead soul. It couldn't be floating around if it's dead, otherwise it's still alive. Are you with me? Elvis Presley is dead. He's nowhere singing Love Me Teddy Bear. The man is dead, stone cold, drunk, dead. This whole belief of a soul living on and on and on and on came from Greek mythology and crept into the Christian church. It's another trick that's fooled millions of Christians. Well, the question is, brother preacher, what happens to the soul? Friends, it dies. It dies until, and I'm going to tell you all about that. But how can a soul be floating around somewhere if it's dead? Question. Follow me now. Hear me out to the very last so you can get this whole package. What goes back to God when you die? Go to Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 7. Because some folk get mixed up between soul and spirit. They get mixed up, friends. They get mixed up. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 7, found on page 1015 in the Seminar Bibles. And Ecclesiastes is right after Proverbs. It's right after Proverbs. Ecclesiastes. Don't let that name scare you. You can find it. Ecclesiastes 12, verse 7. I told you we're going to gallop through the Bible tonight. Is that all right? Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 7. All right, what happens here? Let's find out from Jesus. He has the keys. Then shall the dust what? And the spirit shall what? Now, friend, this spirit here simply is translated as breath. It's from the Hebrew word ruach, translated 117 times as wind and 33 times as breath. The breath simply goes back to God who gave it. Now look at Ecclesiastes 9, verse 5 and 6. All right, Ecclesiastes 9, verse 5 and 6. I'm going to show you something. All right. For the what, friends? The living, that's us. No, we know that we will die. But the what? The dead know not what? Who are the dumbest people in Memphis? The dead folk, because how much do they know? Not anything according to the Bible. Neither have they any more reward, for the memory of them is what? Look at verse 6. Also their what? In their what? In their what? Is now what? If it's all perishable, how can they be floating around somewhere haunting you because how bad you've been to them? Neither have they any more of what? Portion forever in anything that is what? Done under the sun. And that's why we ought to keep verse 10 in mind. Whatsoever thy what? Do it with thy what? For there is no what? Nor what? Nor what? Nor what? In the where? Where you are. So where do you go when you die? You go into the grave. And you better do what you do while you can, while you live, because friends, when you die, that's all she wrote. You better show mama, husband, wife, children, And death does not wait for an invitation. It's about a woman. Death came by, and she looked at death and said, I'm not ready yet. Death said, I'll come back later. She said, okay, but give me a warning. When you come, give me a warning. The years passed by, and she began to get wrinkles, gray hair, weak bones. Death showed up again, and the woman said, I told you to give me a warning. And Death said, when those wrinkles came, that was my warning. When your hair started turning gray, that was my warning. When your bones got weaker, that was my warning. Death, friend, does not wait for an invitation. You better do what you can do now while you yet live. Accept Christ, obey Christ, follow Christ now before the lights turn off on you. Now, where are the dead? If the soul is dead, well, we already saw it in Ecclesiastes, but let's go to John, New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, the 5th chapter. John, the 5th chapter. Follow me, friends. I already warned you, this is not a popular belief, but if it's in the Word, it deserves to be what? And the devil is trying to deceive the whole what? Word. So it ought not surprise you that this is going to be new to some of us tonight. John, the 5th chapter, verse 28 and 29. Boy, this stuff is, whew. Look at this. Do we have it? All right, it says right here, brother, it says, marvel not at this, for the what? In which all that are where? Where are they? Shall hear his what? And then look at verse 29. And shall what? They that have done what? Unto the resurrection of what? And they that have done what? Unto the resurrection of what? Notice you got grave and you got resurrection. Keep that in mind, because if everybody went straight to hell or straight to heaven, would there be any need for any resurrection? And then you have grave, and you have grave here until judgment day. The great getting up morning. We sing that in our own Negro spiritual. The great getting up morning. Well, who's going to get up if everybody's already gotten up? Come on, friend. Who's going to get up on the great getting up morning if everybody's already gotten up? No, brother preacher, that's something deep there. Friends, let me tell you, death is asleep. Or what? Let me prove it. John 11. John 11. John 11. Boy, you're going to rejoice tonight when you get through. If you hear me out. John 11. When you get through, you got to hear this out, though. John 11. 11 through 14. Now look at this. Something happened here. These things said he, and after that he said unto them, our friend what? Sleepeth. But I go that I may what? Now the disciples didn't get it in verse 12. They said, Lord, if you sleep, he should do well. Then look at verse 13. Howbeit Jesus spake of his what? So death in the Lord's sight is asleep. Why is that? Because the Lord knows he can wake